ES Audio.
Hi, I'm John Weeks, and this is the Evening Standard's Tech and Science Daily. Coming up, will Elon Musk pull out of his Twitter purchase deal? But first, CarPlay taking over your dashboard, widgets on your lock screen, and your phone as a webcam. They're just some of the main announcements by Apple at its WWDC 22 event on Monday. On iOS 16, there'll be more customization on the lock screen. Plus, Apple also announced new software for using your iPhone's main camera as your laptop's webcam. In terms of hardware, there's a new MacBook Air using the firm's newest silicon chip, the M2. And there's also an Apple CarPlay update coming, which has been designed to replace your entire dashboard for cars with entirely digital displays. But sadly, no AR headset has been announced at the conference, which continues this week. Several advisors at the company behind Taser weapons have resigned over the firm's plans to introduce drones armed with stun guns into American schools. Axon Enterprises chief exec published a blog post last month explaining how the drones could help address school shootings. In response, 9 of the 12 members on the company's ethics advisory board resigned over concerns about the plan. Following their resignations, the company said it's pausing the project. New research by scientists at the University of Bath suggests the evolutionary trees we've been using to link different species of animals might be wrong.
Many of those are turning out to be incorrect because of a problem called convergent evolution. And this is where similar structures or whole forms of animals and plants evolve independently via different routes.
Professor Matthew Wills led a study using genetic data to work out which species were linked, rather than older methods which relied on things like how animals looked and where they originated. He told us they discovered some matches they weren't expecting.
There was a group of mammals that contained elephants and elephant shrews, which are tiny, aardvarks and manatees. They're completely different. They don't look anything like one another. They live in a completely different way, and yet the molecules now show us that those animals all belong in a single group.
But Matthew said scientists need to look at things like fossils and other scientific records as well to truly understand how animals have evolved over the years.
Even though molecules are incredibly important, we also need to study the anatomy and the paleontology in order to understand these big shifts in evolution fully.
In the latest Twitter deal twist, Elon Musk has threatened to pull out of buying the platform. He claimed the firm has still not shared accurate details about the number of spam and fake accounts on the platform. Mr. Musk's legal team has sent a letter to Twitter alleging it's refused to provide the information that Mr. Musk has repeatedly requested since the 9th of May. Last month, Twitter's CEO, Parag Agrawal, tweeted a 15-post thread explaining that the platform actively tries to reduce spam accounts, suspending over 500,000 every single day. China has brought forward a project to create a solar power plant in space that could beam energy back to Earth. It's planning to launch a trial satellite in 2028 to test the technology used to transmit energy from the power plant. NASA proposed a similar project more than 20 years ago, but it was never developed. And the UK government commissioned independent research into a British version worth £16 billion, hoping to get that in orbit by 2035. The European Parliament has agreed on new legislation meaning all electronic devices will have to be compatible with the same charger. In 2 years, manufacturers will have to ensure all phones, tablets and cameras sold in the EU use the same USB-C charging cable. Supporters of the change said the move will save resources, protect the environment and support consumers. They said it also means the end of cable clutter. Let's go to the ads now. Stay there to find out why older male athletes are at a disadvantage compared with female athletes, and why Pizzly bears might become more of a thing. Why not hit follow in the meantime? Welcome back. Now, it turns out there ain't no mountain high enough to escape the effects of climate change. The Alps, well known for being visible from space, have apparently suffered a big reduction in snow cover on their peaks. Satellite data shows that vegetation above the tree line has increased in nearly 80% of the Alps. Researchers looked at high-resolution satellite data from 1984 to 2021 and said this greening phenomenon, due to climate change, is similar to what we're seeing in the Arctic. A study has found male athletes appear to have older arteries than women of the same caliber. Researchers studied more than 300 masters athletes, people over 40 who'd taken part in more than 10 endurance events and had exercised regularly for at least 10 years. They found that on average, men's aortas, the biggest artery in the human body, were 9.6 years older than their actual age, while female athletes had a vascular age around the same as their actual age. The study suggests older male athletes could be at higher risk of heart and circulatory diseases than their female counterparts. And finally, researchers in the US believe they found evidence of polar bears and grizzly bears mating thousands of years ago. Experts from the University of Buffalo in New York reckon there was interbreeding between the species over the years as warmer climates led to grizzlies heading north. And as climate change continues to bring warmer conditions to the planet today, the researchers say we could see more interbreeding between the species, leading to more grizzly bears being born and potentially a whole new species. You're up to date. Come back at 4 p.m. for the Leader podcast, where we bring you the latest news and analysis from the Evening Standard in London. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Catch you then.